it took a while to realize all those experience that I was going through as a child were completely against my identity and my inner me and who I really was and what I really wanted until later in my years. So it's like you're growing up contradicting everything that you believe in, because especially in the Soviet reality, as many of my friends who come from there even or are from different countries of the former Soviet Union, we grew up under, iron fist is a very loud word, but our daily lives literally were reflecting that. Of course, there was no freedom of speech or expression, even though on paper everyone was free and happy. So that's what I was told. In the family, in the community, school, I was told not to do things and what to do and what not to do. No one would ever ask you what you wanted to do, how you wanted, and even if you expressed yourself in a manner that was different from everyone else, you always started experiencing problems, and those problems grew and grew as I grew older. Especially when I got to the point when I had to sort of realize that I was different from a lot of people, and there was no one like me around me, and this was happening while the Soviet Union was collapsing. There was a civil war going on. There were a lot of social issues. So just to find one word to describe everything, it was a mess. This little queer kid, because that's the definition of queer. I was the one in the spotlight. I played the piano, wrote poems. I was in the journals. I was involved in everything. So it's like a typical, if we compare it to like a typical American kid, like if you're in the drama school and if you're in arts or everything. So that was enjoyable as a kid. But as a child, I did not see the reality and the colors and patterns and shades that I saw later after I started analyzing what was happening around me. So it was a good experience in terms of growing up as a child who was always wanted and appreciated and admired. But then again, the reality hit. I got into my puberty. I got into my teenage years where I realized that there were certain things that were very important for me that I could not talk to anyone. And my sexuality was the key factor in that case. I lived in a denial. Actually, there's a story that I don't think I've told this to many, because it's a shame is the main reason why homophobia sort of starts and originates, especially in that community. You cannot talk, if you even suspect that you have a queer kid growing up, even as a mother, that your kid is different. You are trying to hide it, sugarcoat it. You're trying to like package it differently and deliver it and say, close your eyes to the reality. And the victim at the end is the kid, because the kid is forced to go to the direction that the kid is forced to go to. So I was in that position looking at it from that perspective. And worst importantly, even though, and this is really weird to think about right now, even though everyone was homophobic, and every time I like Elton John, George Michael, Boy George, these were the names that I could hear and I could connect to growing up, and those were the ones that I associated my thoughts towards, but they were always portrayed in a very negative manner and form. So if someone, if there was a song by George Michael on TV, someone would call him a F word, but for me it was very, very painful to realize that the only thing that could normalize what I was feeling was portrayed as the worst thing in the world.